I am wrong, you were right. Transformed your love into life. Baby, believe. Sorry I told you lies. All right. Into night. The night 1,000 times. I should have told you. Many nights, many times, many days. I miss you more and more. Uh-oh. Something's going on with this. Pretty what's going on here? Hold on a second. I'm trying to get Facebook Live up. Uh-oh. Pretty wing Hold on, I'm just pulling up Facebook Live. It keeps messing up. Can you see me?
That video will join shortly.
Oh man, is it not on the right? No, it should be right.
Video will begin.
What's that? Oh, shit. Shoot. What is going on? Uh-oh. What is going on with this thing? Yeah! That boy Maxwell put it down. Bye. Bear with me. All right, hopefully it'll work this time. Dog training Q&A. Yeah. I wanna tell you. Okay, hopefully it works. Hey. There we go. You see it? Let me know. Yeah, it's working? Good. All right. What's up, everyone? It's Jeremy Majors here with Majors Academy Dog Training out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And this is Thirsty Thursday, episode 54. Thank you for being patient with me. My YouTube folks, thank you guys for being patient with me and getting through me. I was singing, and I didn't know I was live. So anyway, feel free to ask as many questions as you want. We'll be here until we run out of questions or things to talk about. So yeah, if you've got a question, go ahead and ask a professional dog trainer. Otherwise, we're going to go to our Facebook. We've got about a couple questions there. All right? Okay. All right. First question. It's a long question. Miley was shaking and acting weird this weekend after she came back from being outside. Not her environment. She came and sat by my legs and started settling in. The boyfriend decided to then ask her to obey commands and do a sit-stay, and it wasn't okay to cower by mom. Would you recommend enforcing then or waiting until the anxiousness calmed down before enforcing? My thought is she's not obeying if her tail is between her legs and she's shaking like a leaf. I remember you talked about how she could be faking and I just get in her way. But I don't know what's best anymore. Okay, so my opinion is, you don't want to. If you're giving the dog a job to do because she was shaking, that's fine. But either way, if she's stressed, it is the best time to actually. Cheers, Amy. It is the best time to actually to advocate for her, because when you're giving her something to do, when when the dog is stressed, you're helping her cope with stress, and you're helping her learn that if she listens to you guys while she's stressed, then she'll start to do that. Whenever she does. Is in the midst of stressful environment. So it's okay to give her direction while she's stressed. Even if her tail is between her legs, that's fine. You're not hurting her. You're not doing this. You're not, So it's actually a good time to give a dog direction when they are scared, because they'll learn to, not be scared or whatever it is. And they'll learn to listen to you when they are scared. And that's a very important point when it comes to dog training. You should be able to teach your dogs to listen to you under stress. That's how you're going to save their life one day, because things will scare them, and if they listen, I have a dog who's scared of fireworks, but instead of running away, I've taught him to listen to me under stress, so he sticks by my side when we're out walking. So that's okay. It's all right. I think it's a good opportunity. I just wouldn't push it, So you could either leave the dog alone or help the dog through it. That's what I'm saying. All right. Thank you for your question. Okay. Next question. You guys that are watching live, you guys can ask questions, and you guys are the priority. The people who are watching live. The questions that I have on social media and all that stuff, they're going to be secondary. So feel free to chime in, ask some questions whenever you're ready. Right, Duke? Duke. This Duke's the small dog. Come here. Come here, Duke. Say hi to everyone. Come here. Look, guys, this is Duke. What's up, bud? What's up? Is that too bright for you? Look at his little tie. All right, well, I'll let you go. Okay, next question. Next question, Duke. Let's see. This question is for Amber. I'm not sure if you have discussed this in the past, but what are your thoughts on doing with a dog while you are gone? Do you prefer to kennel no matter what? If they're good, do you leave them out? Or if you know them to bark and be anxious about anything passing the house, but not sure how much, do you kennel or limit their space? So my answer would be, it depends on if the dog is actually destructive or not. And I'm pretty sure the dog probably will bark inside the house while you're there, while people are passing. And so, in order to, help that, I don't think it'll ever solve it, but in order to help your dog barking at people passing by when you're not home, you have to make sure you're trying to improve it while you are home. So a lot of place command would be recommended for that. Let's see, if they're good, do you leave them out? Yes, if they're good, I would rather them be out wandering the house. Yes, or if them to be barking, anxious about anything passing. So yeah, you're going to set the tone when you're home. You can kind of set the tone for the energy inside the house. Again, though, it's a dog's job to bark, but our goal should be to keep it in moderation. So they shouldn't just bark their head off for hours and hours and hours, but rather they should bark to let people know that, hey, there's a dog in here or whatever. So, yeah, it just depends on the dog. If the dog is good outside the kennel, I see no reason for the kennel. But if the dog is tearing up stuff, pooping, peeing, then then I put the dog in the crate for a while. And then when you're home, again, teach the dog not to be so anxious in the home, if that's the case. All right. Thank you for your question. All right. Rockstar Life. How can I get my dog to stop talking? I wish I could translate what he's saying, but it's so annoying. He won't shut up. What can I do to make him stop? I have a squirt bottle, but that's only temporary. I'm thinking you mean barking. So, barking. Basically, barking. Dogs are going to bark to get something that they like. They're not going to bark to not get something they don't like. So, especially in the house, if you're, in your situation, what does the dog get that they like when they bark? If they don't get it, then they won't waste their energy. I promise you that. So give them something they don't like, which is a water bottle. That's fine. But also just stick with that too. Stick with that for a while, and you will see that the dog will start to evaluate if it's worth it for him to bark, because he won't get what he normally gets, which is your attention, maybe outside, maybe treats, maybe affection, all that good stuff. So that's a form of trying to manipulate the situation. And once they know it doesn't work for them, they'll stop it. Just like jumping. Jumping's the same way in most cases. Right, Caesar Milan? Okay, got a question live, huh? Rockstar life. All right, he's never destructive. When we are home, we are working on place enough when he barks. Lately, he started running through the house to bark out any window away from us. He gets so ramped up. I'm afraid he does this when we were gone. So that's what I'm saying. If if you can nip that in the bud while you're home, he shouldn't have that much freedom. That means he gets to decide too much in the house, right? So if he's going from window to window, that's like kids just running through the house. You don't want that. That shouldn't be necessarily allowed, because then the kids start to become destructive or do something that you don't like. So I would say, you know, make sure you can work on that. You set the tone for the inside energy. The outside backyard and stuff like that, that can be where the dog gets out all of their energy. But inside is for calm dogs. Calm dogs, like Duke. Duke's learning to be calm inside, and he's also a big old barker. So going back to the last question, you know, before, if his barking was annoying enough to where it got him what he wanted, then he would do it. But we're teaching him that barking is not going to get him anything he wants, which is, again, he likes food. He's a big food dog, and he's also a big into table scraps. He likes table scraps, so he'll try and bark to get those things and whatever else too, outside and stuff like that. So, I don't even let my dogs bark to let me know that they're going outside. I just let them outside on a consistent basis, and they don't even have to let me know that. So yeah, going back to the question, Amber, definitely get that inside energy and set the tone for inside the house. When you're inside, my dogs are pretty much just chilling, because we've got our exercise and stuff outside. So They should be on their bed for the most part, 90% of the time. All right. Thank you for your question. Rockstar Life. Okay. Who is that and what is it doing on the couch? Haha, just kidding. This is Duke sharing, and Duke is loud on the couch because he was a good boy today. So I don't. You guys probably think I'm some Nazi about couches and dogs. Listen, if a dog is good, he's not aggressive in any way. But if a dog is good, then they can be on the couch. But not my big dogs. I don't allow my big dogs in that. Just a personal thing because dogs are dirty. Um, but no, this guy's gonna be hit with me for a while, and I wanted to see how it is to keep a small dog. It's a friend's dog, so it's like, it's not like a regular client dog. Anyway, you stink. Duke stinks. Where are you going? All right, let's answer some more questions. What do you say? We are working on limited area, so he can't get so anxious and ramped up. We can't stop him when it starts. Yes, you can. You keep a leash on him, and or put a prong collar on him and a leash, or e-collar train the dog. You have to stop him when he starts. Otherwise, he will continue to do it, and that probably guarantees that he does it when you're not home. So stop him. You may have to add a training tool by it, with a leash and or an e-collar. But if he goes to the other window, you should be able to say, "Come on your bed and stay," and your dog go to his bed and lay down. That's what you want. That's very good control in the house. Okay, and that will help him calm down too. He won't get anxious if you're sort of being being his parent, so to speak. Rockstar Life. Okay. So my dog is crated when I'm at work, and she barks like crazy when she hears me pull in. She jumps on me when I get home. What's the best way to stop the jumping? Act like a tree. No, not act. Don't act like a tree. The best way to get a dog to respect the fact that he can't jump on you is to give him something that is unpleasant in the form of a consequence. Because dogs are really good communicators with other dogs. Like, they're the best. Like, it's clear. So if a dog jumps on another dog and the dog doesn't like it and doesn't want to, and wants it to stop the other dog from jumping, what's it do? Snaps, growls, barks, bites. Maybe not, hopefully not bites, and hopefully not fights, but it will let the dog know by way of forward pressure that you cannot do this, and you shouldn't do this. And either the dog respects it, at a correction at a low level, or the dog has to then correct at an even higher level, right? So, for example, you walk in the door, the dog jumps on you, and you say no, and the dog continues to jump on you. Well, if that was a dog, they'd probably growl, right, in that circumstance. Okay, so the no didn't work. Then you would have to maybe lift your knee and say no, right? So you can give the dog a little bit of contact. That'd be the same thing as a dog going "Rawr!" Right? Because the growl didn't work, and so the pressure has to be, or the consequence sort of has to be at a higher level. And then if that doesn't work, your knee and a no doesn't work, then you have to get a training tool. There's many of those. There's the doggy don't. There's the prong collar and leash, or there's the e-collar, or a squirt bottle, pet convincer. It depends on how sensitive the dog is, and you can get your point across. You may have to be some dogs. You may have to go straight to an e-collar because they're not sensitive. Some dogs, by the sound of the pet convincer, will be like, "All right, I'm good." So it just depends on the sensitivity of your dog, the stubbornness, the thick skull, whatever. So don't act like a tree, because the tree usually doesn't work either. But again, barking and jumping gets them your attention. So I suggest that you start giving them something they don't deem as pleasant, which is probably your attention. So what I would do is, when you walk into the house, go over to the crate, and make the dog quiet in the crate somehow. Okay. And those tools that I just named off could help that tremendously. But he should not be the dog should not be the priority when you walk in the house, because the dog is saying me, come get me when it's barking in the crate. It's me, it's all about me, and it shouldn't be. Okay, so the dog should cater to your or accommodate to you more so than you accommodate to the dog. So I tell people to walk in the house. Again, either, if ignoring doesn't work, because ignoring doesn't work for a lot of people. It would if they had the patience. Like, ignoring will work, but you have to be very, very patient. The shortcut way is to give them a consequence. Like that'll be the way to say, oh, okay, well, when I'm barking, I get this. I don't want that, so I'll stop barking. So when you walk into the house, he can't be the priority. You have to do your thing, and you have to reinforce the behavior that you want the dog to exhibit more times than not. So that means you have to wait until the dog is very calm, to let the dog out. And that can be 3 minutes, that can be 5 minutes, sometimes it can be 10 minutes, depending on how convinced your dog is that if I act like a fool, I can come out of the crate. So it's very important that you teach your dog, if it's calm, when it's calm, you can get whatever you like, but you can't get those things if you act like a fool. All right. So remember, they're going to be doing all that crazy stuff because it's got them somewhere. If you let that dog out of the crate right after it barks, you just told the dog, when I bark, I get out the crate. Okay. So keep that in mind. All right, those of you who just tuned in on YouTube, we are live on YouTube and Facebook. Just in case one or the other goes down, you can go to the YouTube channel and we're live there, or you can go to Facebook Live and you can watch there. I don't know which one's better quality. You guys, tell me, but all of the videos are recorded on YouTube. So those of you who just joined in, my name is Jeremy Majors. I'm a dog trainer out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And this is a dog training Q&A, Thirsty Thursday, episode 54. And what you eating? And yeah, so ask some questions. Feel free. Chime in at any time you want. You can ask as many questions too. You can ask multiple questions. But I want to talk about something here. All right. I want to talk about something here. I got a dog in. It's a Doberman. It is 14 months, big, strong, and I'm fascinated right now with learning more about the dog's background as far as the parents, because the dog was bought from a breeder. And a lot of people right away say, whenever I ask them about their dog and where they got it from, a lot of people say, oh yeah, parents were champions, world champions, bloodline, German stuff. And okay, through all of my the dogs that I've trained and that were bought, and people have said that really just to me now it means less and less. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm telling people that if this, first of all, don't let people sell you on a temperament evaluation, right? If you're trying to buy a puppy, you obviously want really good temperament. Just because the parents were champions AKC champions, that doesn't mean anything about their temperament. Not one thing. Now, if you're buying a dog because you want it to look good and temperament is not your thing, by all means, go right ahead. I mean, then that may be where you want to shop. But just because a dog is good structure wise, um, and you know can run around a ring, doesn't mean that they act good. All right, so the best way to ensure that you get a good puppy is to be able to experience the parents, both parents, not just the dad, but most importantly, the mom. Tell the breeder what you want. If the breeder can't provide video evidence of the parents actually, demonstrating that, you got to be just a little bit more tough on where you get your dog from. Those of you who want to shop for puppies, because you don't want to get a genetically dog that is aggressive, because you don't want to start with a problem, and so temperament is something that should be a priority on your decision. So seeing both parents is very important. Touching both parents is very important. Not just seeing. I talk to a lot of people who say, "Yeah, I got to see the dad and then all that," but they kept the mom up away from somewhere. What? No, 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 no. You know, um, is there a way to test for that? Test for what? What are you talking about? Exactly. It's like no, 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 no. No. You got to see the mom. Mom is more important than the dad. If the mom is up somewhere, red flag. We'll just try and see if we can come up with a few red flags. I'm no breeder by any means. I will be breeding in the future though, because from a sort of dog psychology standpoint, there are a lot of holes and answers that I would love to be certain of. I can guess based on my experience with a lot of different puppies, but I want to experience the whole dynamic from week one, day one to week 12 before and all that good stuff. So a good breeder should be proud to introduce you to the mother of the puppies. Exactly. And then and so we really got to educate people on what a good breeder is, because I really feel bad for people who have really good intentions with the puppy they just bought, but yet the dog can be predisposed or have a genetic aggression problem, and that's for me that if breeders are giving those dogs to people, because you can see it, I'm pretty sure you can see it within the time that you have that puppy, whether it's an aggressive dog or not. And so it's irresponsible for not only the people you're selling with, but the community that they're going to too. So that being said, now I also want to talk about training versus, um, you know, behavior modification, because there's a big difference, and it should be distinguished. And I think I want people to understand the difference between a trainer and a behaviorist, because I would consider myself a behaviorist more so than a trainer. A trainer doesn't take into account their temperament as the whole picture, because they can make dogs that are aggressive look good. Okay, so an example would be There's tons of dogs that can learn and do a lot of tricks that won't necessarily be good around children. That that won't necessarily just be good around people or other dogs. There are plenty. I used to be around. I used to show dogs. There's plenty of dogs that are show dogs that have big problems with other dogs. So, oh, we got a question. Pause that thought. I'll come back to that. My dog eats about 6 to 9 cups of large breed puppy food from. When should I change to regular food? He is 7 months. I don't know. I've been told multiple things from very intelligent people I would consider. The biggest difference, and if someone knows more than me that is watching, because there are some trainers that know, that are watching this, but the biggest difference is just the protein level in food. So who's to say you can't keep the dog on puppy food forever? I don't know. I think it's the protein that changes. The level of protein goes down by like 5%, maybe. Not a significant amount. So you could keep the dog on adult food right now. You could put the dog on adult food, or you could keep the dog on puppy food. I don't know if it matters that much. Puppyhood is probably at least 11 months, 12 months, and then maybe switch. So, yeah, that's the best I got. So thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another. Is there a way to test for genetics? Well, when you're going through a breeder, the breeder should be able to, again, provide you with a lot of information that speaks towards their good temperament, which is experience in the parents, which is providing you video of the dogs being around kids, being around whatever, and so in that way, obviously, if you want to test the dog's genetic makeup, you can go to a vet and they can do it. Hey, Jody. I guess I would say when I used to work like police type dogs, we used to go to the breeder's place and we would work the parents, because the dogs were from working lines, right? So they were trained in Schutzen, which is kind of police dog work. We would work both the parents, the mother and the father, to test their temperament. We would literally work those dogs. So that's how I know it's important to definitely experience those. It's more about what you want. Most people who just want a companion dog, then they should go to a breeder that has very good reputation, and you may have to pay for it too. That's the other thing. You'll have to pay some decent money to get a really good temperamented dog. But most people honestly haven't experienced a very good temperamented dog. With good health, with a good bill of health, a clean bill of health, and all that good stuff. And not to say that people don't have good dogs, but there are good dogs in the shelter too. So let's just put that out there. You're taking a little bit more of a risk if it's through a shelter because you don't know the genetic makeup or the background or anything like that. But there are great dogs in the shelter as well. That is an old-fashioned. Yep, my wife makes a mean old-fashioned. All right. Can you tell if a dog is aggressive or reactive? Say you have 2 dogs at home, but when one is away from the house, it acts up. I can tell. Yes, I can tell if a dog is aggressive or reactive. Um, Say if you've got two dogs at home, but one is away, but when one is away from the house, it acts up. I think that's kind of common. I'm hoping that this is the way that you're going with this, but when two dogs are together and one's apart, sometimes one feels the role of the other dog. Because I've talked to plenty of people who's had a dog that has just like died, and then the other dog sort of takes that role. Whereas there's usually if they're together, one's more subdued than the other, and then so again, I think if this is, you can tell me if I'm totally off or not, but that tends to happen because sometimes one dog can also keep that other dog subdued and control that other dog. So once that dog is away, and the other dog is free to act the way they want to act. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much what I would say with that. Um, would you say the dog that acts up is the submissive one or the dominant one? So regardless too, here's the other thing. Not only could they feel subdued, but they also could feel protected, right? The other dog could sort of give that dog a sense of security, so the dog then doesn't react because of that. You know what I mean? So there's that side of it as well. And when the other dog is gone, maybe the dog is a little insecure because that other dog is gone. So that other dog in the house could provide a sense of security for the other dog, keeping that other dog sort of, from reacting. Yep. All those are likely possibilities. Okay. Let's see. Next question. You guys ready? All right. We adopted our American Staffordshire Terrier from the Humane Society. He's about 3.5 and has a bad habit of scratching our couch when he wants attention. We want to ignore him so he learns that he won't get any attention by doing that, but we don't want to destroy the couch. We've tried the squirt bottle, bitter spray, but that doesn't work. Usually only makes him more hyper. Any suggestions? You may want to try that doggy don't. The doggy don't. Look that up. Google that. Doggy don't. That could help to deter him. And I would say if he gets more hyper when you do it, then you have to become more sort of intense with the corrective tool that you use. So the doggy don't, you press a button, it makes it sound like a taser sound. It's just a sound though. And then when you press it and he intenses, continue to press it and also use your voice too as pressure. No, go lay down. So the other thing is teaching your dog the place command will definitely help with that. Okay, don't let him scratch the couch because he's really just trying to do what he wants to do and get what he wants to get. All right, thank you for your question. Rockstar Live. Okay, I got a question live. How did you get your first clients in dog training? Flyers. Right? List. What was it? What got that? Remember that guy on the boat? The guy who drove the boats with the golden retriever? Remember him?
Yeah.
How did I get him? Just talking?
Flyer, I think. I mean, I don't think you got a website yet.
Yeah, I don't think I had the website. Yeah, so I printed out flyers. I don't recommend printing out flyers anymore, but because you have social media, so I would just use social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. You'll get clients like, very, very easy. So just put yourself out there, make some videos. Definitely make some videos introducing yourself, introducing what you do, show your work online, and if you can get a dog to walk on the leash right, you will get clients. So there's a lot of people who struggle with that. All right. Thanks for your question. Feel free to ask another one. Rolling. All right. Hey, Jeremy, Kimba and Jericho got neutered yesterday. Both did very well, but Jericho especially was a superstar. Oh, look at that. Last time he was at the vet training, vet before training, it was a nightmare, and yesterday was a breeze. Just letting you know, both of them are doing good, doing well. I'm happy to hear that, guys. Very, very happy to hear that. Give them a hug for me. Kimba and Jericho were a Rottweiler and a Doberman that we trained maybe a couple months back, and just two adolescent boys that were quite out of control. I mean, let's just be honest. They were just full of testosterone and ready to go. So we just helped them get it under control. So I'm really happy to hear that. Cheers to that. I'll drink to that. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we got a couple people on YouTube. Hey, hi. This is a dog training Q&A. Ask some questions if you got them. Or if you just feel like watching, you can do that too. No pressure. But otherwise, I'm going to answer some more questions. Okay. How did you become a dog? Wait, can you talk about how you go about introducing dogs? Oh boy. Sure. Okay. Real quick. I'll give you the quick version because I can go deep into it. But yeah, I'll give you a quick version of how I introduce dogs. So, first and foremost, it's very, very important that when you have multiple dogs in your house and you want to introduce another dog into the house, it's very important that your dogs are under control. Your dogs. Every dog has to be under control. Every dog. Through your control, too. They can't... This is a way to ensure no fights, okay? To ensure. I haven't had a fight in years, and this is to ensure that. You have to have your dogs under control. Voice control, which means when you say, hey, no, stop, calm down, don't do that, something like that, they have to actually respond. So if you don't have that kind of control, then you could have a potential bad experience with introducing new dogs into your pack. So when you have that control, and you can use tools to help with that control, to help gain that voice control. Dressage whip is good. Doggy don't is good. Squirt bottle is good. E-collar is good. Anything that can help your dog, sort of gain that voice respect, then you can introduce any dog to any dog. I'm telling you. Okay, so that's step one. That's the first thing you should do. Gain control of your dogs to ensure nothing happens. No crazy crap happens. Okay? And I introduce dogs to my dogs in their territory, in what they would perceive as their territory, because it's my territory actually, and but they live there, so it's their territory too, but it's mine because I'm in control. But anyway, so if you have that sort of control, then it doesn't really matter the territory, right? Because you're in control no matter what. So I bring the dog in on leash, but you want to also make sure of this. This is another really proactive way. I don't have to do this at this point, but this is another proactive way you can ensure a smooth introduction. Don't, for 2 days, don't let your dogs and that dog interact, right? They could be in a crate next to each other, but they're not going nose to nose, because you're also then setting the tone that here comes another dog and you guys are not going to meet until I'm ready for you to meet. Nothing's up to you guys. Okay, because again, that can be, and this is, okay, so if you know your dogs are good with dogs and you know the dog that you're bringing in is good with dogs, then you don't have to listen to this, because this is more so, again, to really ensure that nothing happens, or if you're trying to rehabilitate a fearful dog, aggressive dog. All right, so if you're listening in that, you want to do that, then listen to what I'm saying, because my dogs have met thousands of dogs, and they don't even, their hair doesn't stand up anymore. Like they don't do anything, because they know that, I'm in control and there's no need for any of that. So it makes for a good transition, and they end up playing with each other. So again, control with all the dogs, very important, but also setting the tone with the dog as far as just building a rapport with the dog that you're working with, right? So for those 2 days that, your dogs are not, for the first 2 days, you can be working with the dog on the walk, on the place command, on the down, getting the dog to really respect you. Because the dog that you bring in also has to be able to listen to you, be able to respect your voice commands as well, because that could stop a fight. So this is supposed to be the short answer, but there's no real short answer. I mean, so I apologize for the long answer, but the keys to success is just taking your time, reading the dogs. Once the dog that you're introducing sort of want to play, or just looks like he wants to play and is not nervous, then you can take the next step in letting them go nose to nose. But when they go nose to nose, keep that brief, about 3 or 4 times. And then once they're comfortable, like walking away from each other, then you can drop the leash, but keep the leash on. And then when that happens, you kind of stay near them so that you can break up any potential tension that may occur. And then when that happens, you can just, it's just building a relationship. And the slower that you do it, the better the foundation. The slower and more patient that you are with building that foundation, the better the foundation is going to be. I'm just blabbering. I need a drink. So that's it. That's all I'll say about that. There's a lot more to it. But go to my YouTube videos. There's tons. I've got a lot of videos on how to introduce dogs to other dogs, step by step. And I explain and use, and you can see all the tools that I use. And it's a good reference point to start. All right. Otherwise, you can always use a professional to do that, because dogs in certain areas do need time that only trainers can provide. All right, those of you who just joined in, feel free to ask a question. I don't care what it is, as long as it's dog related. Yeah, we're here for another 10 minutes, so I'll ask, or I'll answer 2 more questions on our social media. But if you guys that are watching live have a question, you guys are the priority, and I will answer your question first. Let's see. Okay, can you talk about building confidence in a dog? Yeah, real quick. That's this will probably be the last thing I talk about, because it'll probably take the rest of the 10 minutes. But if you guys have something to say about it too, or a question about how to build a dog's confidence, because I get that a lot. And a lot of trainers have a very different approach on how to build a dog's confidence. I don't agree with most trainers' solution to building a dog's confidence. So in my opinion, when you're trying to build a dog's confidence, I don't even know what that means. Like in what situation? Okay, so let's just talk about a situation just to have a reference point. Around people. Confidence around people. Maybe your dog is shy around people. You want to build his confidence. A lot of trainers would say agility. Okay. Maybe. But in my opinion, I think people get away from being the dog's parent too quickly. For years, you're still trying, your goal is, a lot of things are going to be brand new to the dog. And they're either going to sort of submit to your leadership, or they're going to conclude about those strange things themselves. And then their temperament, this is the difference between nature and nurture. The nature side of them is going to deal with it based on their genetics, which means if you have a naturally nervous dog, then they're going to be more prone to advocating for themselves as opposed to waiting for you to do it. So if you know that, then that means you have to be there for that dog much more than if you had a dog with calm nerves and that kind of becomes indifferent to a lot of different things quickly or quicker. So, for example, this great thing that I'm training, you can tell that the dog is still such in a question mindset. Everything is just like, what? What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? And this is and those are very crucial moments to be present in the dog's life. Those are very crucial moments because the dog's either going to, again, their nature could take over, or your advocacy or nurture could take over. You got to be there. The more you're there, the better they deal with all those things that they could potentially make a bad experience for them. For example, I was walking the Great Dane. Big old loud lawnmower comes by, or we walk by. Dog was like, what the heck is this? Oh my God, what is this? What is this? And I'm there for him. I'm saying, don't worry about this. I got you. I'm good. I got your back. Let's keep rolling. But so again, that's very crucial. As opposed to our best intentions, yes, I think the average person would want their dog to become okay with that, but not in the dog's mind be that right role. So the dog is free to conclude what or feel how they want to feel because of our lack of control. Oh, got a question. How about slow introductions to a lot of new things? I had a foster that I once saw was afraid of the water. And so we worked with a little tiny swimming pool. Slow and gentle and firm was the key. I have pictures of him in the pool. Yeah, man. I mean, there's tons of dogs that are scared of things that they shouldn't be, right? And the more things we can show them that they can end up enjoying, that's real dog training at its best. You want the dog to want to swim. That's the goal. Or at least not care about the pool, not be freaked out about it. That's secondary. The ultimate goal is to be able to have a dog who is scared of the pool be able to enjoy and look forward to the pool. That's what good dog training is. Good dog training is getting the dog to want to do what you want to do, or want to do what's good for them, and that's good for them. because it can cool them off in the summertime, and it's cool to have a dog to swim, and it's all that good stuff. So something as simple as that, uh, there are people who have trouble with that. They can't get their dog on a treadmill. They can't get their dog on a pool in a pool, or in water. They can't even have their dog take a bath or trim their nails. All of those things, again, if you are who you should be with your dog, all those things should be something the dog says, all right, here you go. Here's the paw. All right, we're bathing. Okay. It's the pool. Whatever. You're going to make me do it anyway. And none of those things are harming them, so they should be cool with it. So those are the things you want to get to with your dog. So that kind of goes back to the point I was talking about before this question, is that, hey, most people want to become buddies with their dog too quickly, as opposed to being their parent long enough. And again, all these different scenarios, the dog is going to either rely on you or rely on itself to make themselves feel safe, better, or whatever. And so it's up to us. The more we are there in those crucial moments, the better off the dog can deal with all those everyday things that a lot of dogs struggle with. A lot of dogs struggle with the vacuum. A lot of dogs struggle with the lawnmower. A lot of dogs struggle with cars. A lot of dogs struggle with a lot of crap, So the younger you can be there, the more you can be there, and while they're young and in those early learning stages, the better off they're going to be able to handle those things going forward. Okay, so that is the nurture side of it. So that's all I got. If you guys have any final questions, y'all better type them now, because that's it. I have no more. I'm talked out. All right, so we'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I really appreciate you guys watching. And they say you don't learn by thinking, you learn by speaking. So thank you guys for helping me learn. And we'll be here next Thursday, same time, same place. Hope to see you guys there. Thank you. Cheers. Have a good night.